How do you make heads or tails of where to put your family when you're thinking about moving to the greater Phoenix area? And this is the perfect video for you if you are trying to find the best family-friendly areas that have good to great schools, safe environment, healthy environment. So making sure that not only emotionally healthy, but as far as eating, restaurant choices and grocery store healthy choices out there, and overall a good quality of life for your family, which means affordable housing, or as close to affordable housing as possible. Well, I'm going to cover the top 10 cities. There's literally 3 times that many that have all of these things put together for you by ChatGPT. And I'm going to give you a little bit of pros and maybe even some cons on some areas. Here's the thing, guys. You need to figure out what's important to you and your family that's within your budget. And then you have to weigh out those pros and cons and figure out what the best place is to call home. All right, coming in at number 10 is Maricopa City. Now, Maricopa City is a city that's located in northern Pinal County that is just outside of the Southeast Valley. And let me tell you, the biggest complaint, and let me tell you, the people that live there will yell and scream this so that you know, the traffic sucks. There is only one road in, and it's not so much just the 347 highway, it's also Interstate 10 that has become quite the bottleneck. So here's the thing, guys. Even if you have to commute during the normal commute hour, you just allow a little extra time. Look, I come from the San Francisco Bay Area, and to have an hour commute to work is no big deal. In fact, if you're coming here, even from some of the rural places that people are moving here from, they have an hour commute into wherever they are working too. I think Arizona, we're just really spoiled. So the fact that somebody has to drive maybe 45 minutes to an hour to work is kind of painful. Here's another thing to pay attention to. It's not so much the traffic, it's the idiot drivers. I had to be at an appointment at 6:15 in Maricopa. I was leaving Chandler about 5:30 p.m. It wasn't me that was going crazy. It was the other people going in and around me. I could see where that stress level comes from. So I just took it easy, turned up my tunes, and it was no big deal. So just to let you know, that's the biggest negative of Maricopa. But the positives, are you ready? I could go on and on. First of all, housing prices in Maricopa cannot be beat. I don't care what part of the greater Phoenix area you are comparing it to. Maricopa is by far the biggest bang for your buck. And it's truly a standalone city, meaning that if you don't need to go in for work to the greater Phoenix area, you don't ever really have to leave Maricopa. Not only is there a hospital now, there's entertainment, there's shopping, there's restaurants, there's a plethora of schools, from public schools to private schools to charter schools to macro schools. There's even, of course, online schools. There is an amazing community center, Copper Sky Community Center. I'm telling you, there are so many family-friendly, community-focused bullet points for this city. It is honestly one of my favorites. Aside from the traffic, it is the perfect little town that's affordable. The town that could. All right, coming in at number 9 is going to be Santan Valley. Kind of the sister city to Maricopa. It's not, but it's in Pinal County as well. Now, Santan Valley is a little bit different. Like I would say Maricopa is more like a city. It's just a little city. Whereas Santan Valley, I feel like is more of a suburb of a suburb of a city. Meaning it is a little bit more spread out. You're starting to see a lot more things that you might need. It has a Home Depot, has a Walmart for the most part. And you see, there's a ton of physical therapy offices down there. I have no idea why. There is a ton of dentists down there. You can still see food trucks on the side of the road. You can see, I don't want to call them peddlers, but people in, small business, they're selling like their homemade benches or maybe some candles or some cowhides. So it's still kind of rural suburban town that's become a city and they just don't know it yet. There's over 100,000 people that live in Santan Valley, and there is no freeway even remotely close to Santan Valley. And that is the biggest problem, because at least Maricopa, it's down to one road having major traffic. Santan Valley is any road is busy. And when you're going into Queen Creek, where you're going to do most of your shopping, there's a lot of traffic. I do love the small town feel still. You can see, like, church car washes. They have family and, events. They have spring flings and different kinds of fairs and things like that. So I do love Santan Valley. It's very flat, but then so is Maricopa. The median home price here is $410,000. And let me tell you, you can get homes in the high 300s if you're looking at some resale. The new construction, in my opinion, are starting off much higher than in Maricopa. And I feel like the schools are better in Maricopa and or are closer to great schools versus the schools in Santan Valley. But it is getting better. And later this year, hopefully it will pass as a city to become incorporated. And if that's the case, we'll start to see some really good changes in this area, because right now it's just an unincorporated town in the county. And so it's not getting a lot of the funding that's needed to now take care of all of the residents. All right, that's enough about Pinal County. And number 8, this is literally the opposite side of the entire Phoenix area. This is none other than an area called Anthem. Now, there's actually 2 Anthems, but there's the other Anthem is in Florence. It's a 55 plus community. We're not talking about that. We're talking up in North Phoenix that used to be like kind of alone on its own. And I'll tell you, it's starting to grow around it. This is, in my opinion, a hidden gem. Again, once upon a time, there was nothing there. It is also now a self-contained city. It's not a city though. It's honestly just a neighborhood. It has a median home price of under $480,000, which in my opinion makes it super affordable. They have grocery stores, they have coffee shops, they have everything you need to survive, not to mention they have first set of outlets that I think Phoenix had is up there. They're kind of old, but it's still shopping. And again, it gives you that small town feel. The views in Anthem are outstanding. It's unbelievable. And I love that this community is not flat. It's one of the few that I think is affordable and has mountain views. If you're also looking for golf, there's a country club up here this way as well. If you're looking for a little bit more shopping, you're just going to be popping on down Interstate 17, which they have widened significantly, so you don't have that bottleneck of traffic like you once did. And you can pop on down to Happy Valley Road, where there is a ton of employment. That's where Taiwan Semiconductor is going in, right around that area. There's everything from grocery stores to movie theaters to big box stores to smaller little restaurants, anything and everything you need within a 20-minute drive. Love Anthem, love the feel. And we're talking 10 out of 10 schools. I mean, the ratings up there are incredible. And I really think it's a good place. If you don't have to work too far into the valley, this is a great place to consider for your family. All right, coming in at number 7, again, this is also a neighborhood. It's not a city. It actually sprawls across 2 cities. Can you guess which one it is? If you know the Phoenix area and you are waiting for me to name areas, you're like, I'm waiting for this community. I'm waiting for this community. It's none other than Verrado. Now, Verrado predominantly sits in Buckeye. It's starting to sprawl out a little bit east, and it kind of encroaches a little bit on Litchfield Park. That's called Verrado East. It is still part of Verrado, and you still have access to all the benefits of Verrado. Verrado, I have done so many videos on, as I'm sure other YouTubers have. There's so much to cover. It's changing so much right now. At the time of this video, look, we saw Costco go in there several years ago. Finally, Verrado Marketplace has kicked off the ground. They will start opening stores and everything later in 2025. So everything that this area was missing will now have it. We're gonna have movie theaters, a super huge Target. It's gonna be a walking, kind of outdoor walking, shopping, not as much as the other marketplaces that you might be familiar with. There's Desert Ridge Marketplace and Tempe Marketplace, which are literally millions of square feet, hundreds of stores. This marketplace is not going to be that big, but it is going to serve its residents very well. It also has the most charming downtown Main Street you've ever seen. It looks and feels like Mayberry. This is truly what I call a golf cart community. whether you're in the Verrado part for the kids and maybe have your grandparents live in Victory, it's really nice the way both adult community and the general population area kind of share some of the common areas. Love this area. Outdoor trails. There's 2 golf courses that are right now public. One of them will be going private when all the memberships sell out. But for now, everyone can take advantage of them. And whether you're talking bicycles or scooters, the kids have so much to do. The schools are fantastic. The housing choices here are unbelievable. And the median price in Verrado is under $440,000. Now I'm going to say that's kind of a weird number because it gives the impression that there's a lot under 400 and there's not. They really start at 400, but there's an abundance in that $400 to $500,000 range. Now don't get me wrong, there are $800 and $1 million homes there. But according to this ChatGPT, the median home price at the time of this video is $440,000. Coming in at number 6, Goodyear, Arizona. You know, about a year ago, I saw Goodyear in the news all the time, and it's been kind of quiet. But there is so much going on right now. Estrella Mountain Ranch is definitely the driver of Goodyear, and that has turned into one of the most amazing master plan communities with a median price of $460,000. And let me tell you, if you want to feel like you're on an island, meaning a good tropical island, this is the community for you. You are dealing with 5 miles of lakefront trails. There is a boating club. There you can teach your kids how to sail. They have 2 community pools, but I meant like community centers. The big one, it's a Star Point. It has a beautiful restaurant and then a casual restaurant. You can also eat outdoors. There's also a gym area, so that's really kind of nice. They have pickleball courts. They have volleyball courts. They have basketball courts. I would say a good high school. I wouldn't say great, depending on ChatGPT. It says that it's an average school district. There's a lot more choices, and a lot of people are choosing to do, again, take advantage of open enrollment, and they drive their kids up to maybe some of the preferred schools. But there's a lot of charter schools and Montessori schools and private schools that are starting to open up this part of the area. Goodyear, also just north of Estrella Mountain Ranch, is opening up their downtown. It's called Goodyear Square, and this is where we're gonna get our first Buc-ee's. Okay, I know everybody in Arizona is just like celebrating. We're so excited. It's been delayed, not once, but twice. They have dirt moving, that's what I call it. They're moving the dirt, so something's definitely happening, but they're saying it's not gonna be open now until 2026. Goodyear Square already has a bunch of restaurants. There's some festivals that are already taking place there, movie theaters, and again, you have access to Interstate 10. But let me tell you a little secret on all of these areas that not all, but I was talking about Verrado and Goodyear. You want to make sure you buy a home or live in a home where you're not reliant on that Interstate 10. Interstate 10, I'm telling you, it's like LA. I come from California. I feel like I can say that. Interstate 10 is getting bad. We have seen the greater Phoenix area just in the last 5 years grow to over 5 million people. We were just a little podunk western town a few years ago. All right, maybe a couple of decades ago. But my point is, the Interstate 10 has not changed a whole lot. They have made some improvements. It's just not enough. So if you're buying anywhere near the Interstate 10 on the west part of the valley, you're just going to want to be conscious and aware of that there's a lot of backup. Number 5, this is kind of a sleepy little small town. I saw this popping up a few years back, actually more than a few years back, when they really started to build there, and it's called Litchfield Park. Litchfield Park has some super cool, massive size lots. It's called Old Litchfield Park. It's not too far from Wigwam Resort. And I'll tell you, when you're thinking of like the old charm of Phoenix, this neighborhood is absolutely gorgeous to walk through, walk your dogs, kids play ball, and just so many amazing things. Here's the thing. Most of the people, though, that are moving here from other states either don't know Litchfield Park exists, this type of Litchfield Park, or this area of Litchfield Park, or they just are looking for newer communities. These are older homes. Again, these are ranch style homes on half-acre lots. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then there's the newer part of Litchfield Park that's even attached to Verrado, as I mentioned. And if you're thinking of RV garages on like large lots, if you live that kind of a lifestyle with a lot of toys and such, again, Litchfield Park is a great place to look. And the median price in the Litchfield Park area is $470. I'm really gonna say it depends on, what you're looking for, newer or older. Mostly known for, again, quiet tree-lined streets and a small town feel with a great community events. Number 4, we sure do have a lot of going on in the west side. Peoria, specifically Northwest Valley. So I kind of say there's like 2 parts of Peoria. The initial part of Peoria was built closer in to the Phoenix area. And then as the 101 was built, you know what they say, first comes housing, then comes freeways, then comes jobs, then comes retail. Okay, so that's the progress on how cities grow. So as Peoria, when it first was built, those are going to be homes built like in the 70s and 80s. And then when the 101 freeway opened up, it opened up that next kind of chunk of land. And that is going to be kind of where like Fletcher Park and Arrowhead grew. And that's going to be in the later 80s, 90s. Great areas, fantastic schools. But as you just kind of take a hiccup right on over the mountains, you get to where the new 303 has opened up. I'm telling you, Peoria has only just begun. If you get on that side of the mountains and over by 303, you are going to be closer to, well, Lake Pleasant. Someday we'll have a better road to Lake Pleasant, but you'll be closer to Lake Pleasant. And most of all, the newer master plan communities. My 2 favorite, I think number 1 is going to be Vistancia. Vistancia has a couple of different neighborhoods, whether you're talking about the older Vistancia Village, or you're also talking to Blackstone, or there's a whole new community that's being built up to the north. So if you're looking for new construction, if you're looking for resale, Vistancia has a lot. I'll tell you, there's a little bit of a challenge between residents and big commercial developers going on right now. I'll give you a little tidbit on that. Amcor is opening up just over by where there is going to be this like walkable street, multi-purpose use. I think it's called High Street. I can't remember the name of all these things. They already have an amazing Fry's there, and they're going to be building this other street that's going to have retail and restaurants, and it's also going to have apartments and condos. My gut feeling is the condos are going to fall out. It's going to wind up just being rentals. It's just kind of how it works. And across the street from this area is where Amcor is wanting, they own the land, they are going to build a $2 billion facility. There's a whole bunch of pushback from the local residents, but unfortunately, I do think this is going to happen. Taiwan Semiconductors coming in. I don't think that, I think that there's going to be a middle ground, like Amcor will give something, whether it be a huge donation or grant to the schools or parks programs or whatever, but there's going to be something, and that is going to be going in. That's good though for people that are looking for getting into an area that might have been just a housing community and it's now growing to that next level. That's why I'm saying North Peoria is going to blow up. We're going to see so many employers moving up this way. So if you are looking for, again, writing that opportunity, this is a great area. Median home price in this area, under $480,000. And again, it is mostly known, I said West Wing is my other favorite community out this way. I love all the hiking and outdoor trails, the mountain views, whether they're right in your backyard or super far away, the proximity to Lake Pleasant, if you like outdoor water activities from camping, fishing, boating, jet skiing, paddle boarding, just about everything. This is a fantastic area, and you're going to see over the next 20 years, this place is going to blow up. We have covered Pinal County, which is fantastic. We have covered the West Valley, and ironically, the remaining 3 cities are in the Southeast Valley. Now, again, these fall under family-friendly and affordable. So if you're wondering where Scottsdale is, I already discussed what the median price in Paradise Valley is. The median price in Scottsdale for the most family-friendly areas is 1.5. That's the median. So if you're looking for somewhere around that $1.5 to $2.5 million home, Scottsdale is in on this list, but it just didn't make it because it's not considered affordable. Scottsdale. There's a lot of benefits to living in Scottsdale, but if you're looking for a bigger bang for your dollar and maybe not live to work, these three are going to be in you, like on your list. Ready? Number 3 is coming in, none other than Chandler, Arizona. Just did a video on Chandler. You got to check it out. Here's the thing. For being one of the largest technology hubs in the country, it is known as Silicon Desert, and the largest tech employment hub in the greater Phoenix area, so we're talking high-paying jobs. It is fantastic to see the median price at $540,000 for Chandler. Chandler has it all for families because there is such a large corporate presence in the city of Chandler, and there is a ton of sales tax revenue and employment tax and all the other taxes that are collected from the companies. They go back into the school systems. The schools in Chandler cannot be beat. I'm talking public schools, okay? Yes, there are private schools, there are charter schools. Actually, I didn't mention there's a basis in Peoria, there's a basis in Chandler, but you don't necessarily have to go to that elite of a school to get a quality education. The after-school programs, the community center programs, the library programs, the arts, the STEM, the robotics, like just that next level of academics can only be found in Chandler. Seriously, even number 2 in one city, which I'm going to get to, due to the proximity, having the accessibility to these same things, but most of them are in Chandler. Also being in Chandler, this is such a great thing for older kids in the high school. Again, top high schools, Perry, Basha, Hamilton, Chandler Traditional. There are kids that live in Scottsdale that come down to the Chandler school, the new high school. But what I was going to say is there is an later junior and senior year. It's called EVIT, East Valley Institute of Technology. I got too much stuff up here. And this EVIT program is free to the students that go to school in the East Valley. This is curriculum, like they take morning classes in regular high school, and then they take the bus over to EVIT campus. There's 2 different campuses, and they are going to learn a trade. So when they graduate high school, some of them can graduate with associate's degrees or a trade certificate, literally from hygienist to welding to cosmetology to coding. There's a long list of programs available. Again, this is in Chandler. So highly ranked Chandler Unified School District. We talked about that. Tech jobs, great libraries, safe neighborhoods, tons of youth programs. We're talking as far as healthy restaurants, grocery stores. We're talking budget kind of things, and also high-end. Everything from Whole Foods to Trader Joe's to Winco to Aldi to Ranch Market to, I could go on, Sprouts, I forgot about, and they're everywhere. Everything you can imagine is in Chandler. And again, that median home price is only $540,000. Number 2, this one, I have to say, depending on what I put in to ChatGPT, between 2 and 1, it kind of went back and forth. So I'm going to just call this one that I pulled up. Queen Creek is coming in at number 2. And why is it great for families? It says it's rapidly growing with newer homes and schools like Queen Creek Unified School District. I cannot disagree. Let me tell you, once upon a time, Queen Creek was nothing but ranches and farms. And I love how much has retained that ranching kind of feel. You can feel and smell the horses everywhere, and it is beautiful. If you're looking for larger lots, or if you're looking for green trees, if you're looking for pastures, if you're looking for shade, if you're looking for flower gardens, if you're looking for, again, great schools, I'm talking 10 out of 10 schools. Also, if you are interested in club sports, there is the Arizona Athletic Grounds that is actually in Southeast Mesa. It borders Queen Creek. It's literally just a block away. In fact, by the way, guys, you'll have to check out my website. If each of these cities seem interesting to you and you want to know more about these cities, just go to my website at Go Arizona Real Estate. You can click on the map and then go to each of the cities, and it will bring you to all the videos that I've done recently on each of these cities. I just finished an entire series of Southeast Valley homes. So it's going to kind of talk about how there is definitely some blur over lines, like between, Chandler and Gilbert are right next door to each other. Gilbert over in Queen Creek, and then Queen Creek and Mesa, etc. So living in this part of the greater Phoenix area, you have accessibility to so many things. Now, specifically Queen Creek, I want to mention there is an amazing new park called Frontier Park that's not too far from the Arizona Athletic Grounds that I was just mentioning. So we're talking about more pickleball courts, softball fields, ball fields, soccer fields, a walkable lake. It has one of the largest splash pads I have ever seen for the kids. It is unbelievable. And the most amazing aquatic center. This is so cool, but it is only open to Queen Creek residents. It is probably the first one I've ever seen that has been like this. Usually, like for instance, Chandler has a lot of public pools that anybody can use. There's a resident fee and a non-resident fee, but anyone can use it. Queen Creek, this particular Frontier Park, right now anyways, is only open to Queen Creek residents. And so they have a lap pool, they have a swim team, there's also a lazy river, and they also have water slides. So it'll be interesting to see if at some point they maybe open it up, but because there was so much draw, like everybody was so excited about it, at least right now that's the rules. The median home price in Queen Creek is under $490,000. So it's nice that you can afford to live in one of the most desirable places in all of the greater Phoenix area. And Queen Creek, my friends, has only just begun. The downtown is about ready to explode. And coming in at number 1, can anyone guess? I'm actually kind of surprised it showed up on this list as affordable, and it depends on what you're comparing it to. But the median home price in the number 1 town actually is the town of Gilbert. I'm sure I can hear people going, yeah, I made it. Gilbert has really completely changed. If you haven't been to Gilbert, you wouldn't know what it's like even just 5 years ago. In the last 5 years, this town has gone from once was a sleepy little farming ranch town, and then it was to just all of that, they were starting to build their downtown, they had some shopping, and they started building a ton of homes in 2000. So it's only 25 years old that they've really been building it up. But the last 5 years, I'm telling you, exponentially, Gilbert is just exploding. So top rated schools, it crosses over a couple of different school districts, Gilbert Public Schools and Chandler Unified Schools in parts of Gilbert. Like I said, the median price is only $520. It is one of the safest towns in America. So it's not just the safest city in Phoenix or the safest city in Arizona. It is one of the safest cities, and I get it, they're a town. They're a town of almost 300,000 people. They just like the way it looks and feels. Median price at $520. The vast majority of homes are over $1 million. But there's enough of the smaller sales that brings that median down. So again, depending on what you're comparing it to, will dictate whether or not it's considered affordable to you. If you are looking for a Scottsdale-like environment without a Scottsdale price, Gilbert is definitely the second choice. In fact, I hear Scottsdale residents talking shit about Gilbert because I think that they're jealous. Because Gilbert is a newer Scottsdale and better. But I say that it has all the hype, the restaurants, the outdoor shopping, the high-end activities, the homes. That's why I was really surprised that it made it on this list. Gilbert is amazing, not gonna lie. And for those of you that think it's all Mormon, it's not like that at all. You're just gonna have to come and check it out. But it's I cringe when people call me and say that that's the reason they don't particularly like that area, because they've heard things. I'm telling you, that's old news, like 100 years ago. All right, maybe not 100 years ago. Gilbert is super friendly. Love the downtown. They have a whole park underneath the water tank, and then they do Thursday night movies when it's not in the summertime. They do parades. They have Gilbert Days. They have the rodeo still. They have, oh my gosh, so many charming little boutique and restaurants and oh my gosh, the farms that they still have there. In fact, there's 4 communities that really stand out above all. There's literally over 400 neighborhoods, by the way. So 4 doesn't scratch the surface. But the most popular in my book is Agritopia. Agritopia, If you don't mind the closeness of your neighbors, because some of these are really small lots. In fact, small lot, you're going to get a home in Agritopia for about $550, $600. If you want a decent sized lot, but you still feel really cramped in there, so you're talking like a 7,000 square foot lot, maybe a little bigger. Those are going to be 1.2, meaning 1 million, 1.2 million, and 2 million. So it's getting a little pricey in that area, but it's a really cool place to visit during Halloween and Christmas, that's for sure. And the farm that's attached to this community is amazing. The farm to table restaurants. And then my second favorite is Morrison Ranch. Morrison Ranch is just breathtaking with the white picket fence, the beautiful green grass and the trees, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. There are some older parts of Morrison Ranch that make it a lot more affordable. You can still get homes in the $500,000 and $600,000 price point. If you're looking in the newer part, which if you ask me, it's not quite as charming because the trees and everything haven't grown, but those are going to be in the high 1 million and over $2 million homes. So it's kind of nice to live in a neighborhood that has that vast diversity as far as price. As far as my other two favorites, they're south of the 202, which is where all the craziness really is, to be honest with you. Santan Village is exploding. I thought it was big already. It's getting even bigger. They're but there's thousands of apartments coming in. So that freeway on that 202 is only going to get crazier, busier. So people are going to want to live more on the outskirts and then drive into town. Drive into town, right? So that's going to be Power Ranch. Love, 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 love Power Ranch. It is nothing but beautiful green grass and parks and trees and water, community pool. There's beautiful. It has a lot of club activity too, like kids and for adults. So like if you have a hobby or a passion aside from pickleball, but like knitting or bunko or story time and things like that, there's so many things that go on this community. It's literally like a little city. Love Power Ranch. Those homes, in my opinion, are also very affordable. You can start off in the townhomes style in the 400 price point. They have a slightly higher HOA. And then the other area, you could go up to, a little over $1 million, but you can get a beautiful home in this area for 600 or 700. Then my last, and this one is very unique. This is in South Gilbert. It's called Seville. Seville is a golf and country club, and it's one of the only social clubs it is the only social country club that we have in the entire Southeast Valley. But it's so much more affordable than any of the ones that are in Scottsdale. The buy-in on this is rather inexpensive. It's about $5,000 or $10,000 for the social membership, depending on whether it's single family and how many. They also have different types of memberships, so you can go somewhat golf, or you could also there's activity one, etc. You're just gonna give them a call. I'm not here to sell memberships. I'm only here to sell homes. And those homes range anywhere from, again, 500 all the way up to a couple million. Also, depending on where you live in this particular community, you'll have mountain views. And it is also a golf cart community. Shopping nearby, about 10, 15 minutes away, you can get to absolutely everything. Here's the thing, guys. If you are thinking of buying in the greater Phoenix area, as you can see, it doesn't matter which part of the valley we're talking about. This girl has your information. And when you're relocating here from somewhere else, you don't know what you don't know. So you want to work with someone that can compare and share different pros and cons over different areas. You start here and we get you into that perfect home. It makes a difference who you choose when representing to buy real estate. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, or weekends, we are here when you're thinking of moving to the greater Phoenix area. And I cannot wait to hear from you. And an easier way to reach me is, again, go to my website, click the contact, and you'll be hearing from me and my team. See y'all soon. Bye.